Lloyd White's obviously got a little bit of history and a bit of pedigree. He's played against Australia in a half position. So I've never really had a problem with playing both John and Lloyd at the same time. And Lloyd's just a smart rugby player. He knows he can play on edge. He knows what we want. He knows our systems. He's played there a couple of times. So when Danny went off, it wasn't like you say you can't panic and pretend that everything's going to fall to pieces. We knew we was okay. The biggest problem I had was then trying to work out in my head how to rotate John out the middle at a certain stage, get Lloyd in there, and what we would do with the other three bench spots to be able to do that. So just having worked that out, and Lloyd came on and settled in pretty quickly. I say we got a try, and we looked pretty comfortable in that with that kind of shape. And John, after 20 minutes, John's calf tightened up and he pulled his calf, and then there's a lot of pressure on both Lloyd and Kevin. Then Kevin being the only half on the field and working, and his connection and working hard with Reece to create some kind of shape, so we could have some attacking formation on both sides of the ruck. It's one of those kind of things where if you know that attacking wise, if you can't look like you're going to attack certain areas, you can't be deceptive enough to create numbers in other areas. So it's when you're only playing one half, and it's like Kevin's the main indicator. Then so often if they were smart enough, would have been able to understand exactly where our ball was going to go a lot of the time. So that was the basic premise, that just playing off certain points in the field gave us two sides of the field options, easier for Kevin to get to one of those two sides, and then Lloyd White had to go. Well, he didn't have to play 80, did he? He only played 79, but it was a tough ask because he defended on edge. What he had to do was one of the toughest things in the game. It's like he has to get in and think around dummy half, then have to make decisions defensively. The physical aspects when you play at 9 are there for everybody to see. You're going to have to defend against big fellas, and the numbers of tackles you make are going to be far greater than if you defend 2 and 3 and off the sideline. But the toughest place to defend mentally on the field is like 2 and 3 in on the sideline. And Lloyd then had to expend loads of energy trying to get our shape off the ruck to get us going forward, and then get back out and make decisions defensively on an edge. So it was a massive game from all round. I know, like it's hard not to look past the impressive performance of Kevin, but I think Lloyd was outstanding on the weekend, just because of, like I say, the shifting around he had to do, and just the way I had to think about the game. And then losing McGrath with 20 minutes to go. Seemed like the longest 20 minutes I've been involved with this year, but I think we just had. I've seen some of the stuff in the press and that, but when you watch the game back, we dominated the game. We were the best team by a mile, even with only like one half back on the field, and Kevin was that far ahead, the best player on the field. It wasn't true. I think tactically we were far superior. I thought physically, yeah, we had some battles that we lost, but our energy and enthusiasm to do the right things over and over again was outstanding. It's something that really set us apart on the day.
What can you tell us about those 3 players who went off and couldn't come back on, Dennis?
Danny Craven's, we're not sure yet. It's his neck as much as his head. So he's got a real stiff neck at the moment. But concussion-wise, yeah, he just goes through the protocol that's been put in place. He's not been able to train, but he looks all right. His eyes are clear. He's not having any headaches, so everything's good on that side of it. Whether he'll be able to make the weekend, I'm still not sure yet. I doubt it really. McGrath's the positive one out of the 3. I say he's just gone through the protocol, but he seems okay. Everything's still in the right place.
As much as it was before.
As much as it was before. And I say that's McGrath. It's all or nothing. He threw everything he could into Tazi, and then it was. I wouldn't say that morally you won, physically you lost. But it was a great hit. So he's a positive one. John's going to be possibly 2 or 3 weeks, just with a calf strain. So I'm scanning his little tear in aspect of his calf. So he's the one that we're going to miss.
Anyone likely to be available next week who wasn't last week? Like Gore, for example.
Yeah, Gore's back available. Gilmore's back in training as well. So those two are in the Carberry's now running around. I would say like a 18-year-old, but more like a 21-year-old. But he's available. The tough ones are like Danny Gallay's on the edge still. And that's it really, yeah. So
what are you up to with the longer term ones, Cahill, Arvan? What are we up to?
We're just, again, it's just time will tell. There's no real set time on that. With Hepper, we're taking it week by week. Like it could be another 2 weeks, it might only be a week. It's just with the nerve damage and he's settling down, it's just making sure his strength's right. You know, the specialist just being clear on on every aspect of his recovery. Like I say, we don't want to put him back in. It's the specialist we spoke about. It talks about it might be in a boxer who gets knocked out. You get knocked out once, and if you come back too soon, you get knocked out again. Then there's a chance that you might not fight for a couple of years. And if you get knocked out a third time, that might be the thing that stops you playing or fighting ever again. I think it's the same kind of thing with Hep. It's like we've got to be really careful with nerve damage because it takes, if you get it to a certain level, it takes so long to recover. So we're just going to be really cautious this time and make sure, like I say, make sure he's right.
Before we leave the Salford game, that try by Reece Hambry, once he picked up that loose ball, was a special trial.
I think that's Reece, though, isn't it? Like I say, it's, if you're asking me if I was surprised that he did it, I'm not, because I've seen it a few times. If you're asking me if I enjoyed it, I did. Yeah, it was fantastic. But like I say, it wasn't sort of like a eureka moment where God, Reece can do that. I've seen Reece does that in training. He does it. He's done it in plenty of games. I think he likes playing in Salford. I think he's done it 2 or 3 times against them. So you know that that's in Reece, and it was great to see him do that play that we've not seen so much this year. To come out of it, and his awareness, his cool head, and just playing and getting on with the game. I know it talks about the concern from McGrath, or but when you're in the moment and the game's important, and there's a loose ball on the floor, that's what we talk about all the time. It's like those are the inches and margins that we fight for, that if there's a loose ball on the floor we have to get on it, and we have to, then we'll recover and see what happens next. Luckily for us, Reece was bang on the button, picked up the ball, and I say you can't really think that it was just a race to the line. He ghosted between 2 players. Like, he left Danny Williams for dead. He was pretty quick, and like Greg Eden then just couldn't find enough in him to catch up with him and get on with him, and both of those had at least 20-30 metres on the start, and the way he ghosted 2 of them was a pretty special try.
And the Widnes fans at the Etihad, Dennis, I thought they did the side proud.
I think they were the best side, the best group of supporters on the weekend, weren't they? I think everybody's commented on it, and the atmosphere on day one was so much better and made so much more by them throughout the whole day. I've spoken to a number of people on the games after ours, and about our supporters and about what they like and how much they enjoyed it. I'm just pleased that we could give them that game. It was a really good game. It was exciting, and for them to come out on the other side of it, it's been really, really good for them to enjoy that day.
Moving on to the Cass game, you know, people keep thinking Cass will fall off the perch at some point, don't they? But there's no sign of it, is there? There was some goal against Wakefield.
They were fantastic. They have been all year. It's like even in the 2 losses previous to that, they were very good. I think what Daryl's done is he's come in there. He's got a group of players, of very talented players, and his man management and his understanding of the game, and made it really simple for them. Give them plenty of purpose. They know their jobs. They get out there and they play, and they work hard for each other. It's great to see. I think he's doing some fantastic stuff there. And it's good to see someone like Daryl, who's worked so hard at being a coach, getting rewarded at that kind of level, and the recognition that he deserves, really, because like I say, he's done it. Not, I won't say the tough way, but he's learnt his trade, and he's been around. He's been into rugby union for 4 or 5 years, and he's head coach at Leeds. Before that, when he started off, and he went back to the Championship and made and created a very, very formidable Feathers and side for a number of years. And it's all built on very, very similar culture and ethics that he's taken to Castleford now. And I don't think they're going to fall over at all this year. I think they'll be fighting that top 4 spot and semi-finals and finals. They're going to be a very tough side to beat. I think, especially on, like, everybody talks about our home ground, but theirs is a formidable place to go. It's a different size of pitch. It's an imposing stadium. The fans are so close to you. The fans are really behind the team at the moment. So it's an imposing place to go, and I think that's what we're excited about this weekend, is going there and having a tilt at them, really, because they are playing so well.